So we have Jim Livingston here. He is senior team lead at LG. And we see right here, life's good, right? That's LG, right?
Life is good. Yep.
All right. So tell us a little bit about kind of LG in the warehouse space, right? I think a lot of people obviously may be familiar with LG because of appliances and things like that. But tell us a little bit about kind of the entrance into the warehouse robotics space and what you guys are all about here at Modex.
Sure. So most people are not familiar with the fact that we do robots in other verticals, whether it's hospitality. You've seen that robot going back and forth from the kitchen to the table.
Yes. Yeah.
We call that the serve bot. We also have a guide bot that kind of runs back and forth. And then about 2 years ago, they decided they wanted to get into the AMR business. And so it's the same kind of robot, basically same infrastructure, but now it just put a different size rack, if you will, on it. And so now our robots have the ability to carry goods, up to 66 pounds, 88 pounds, 130 some pounds, and do these back and forth to the aisles. And from a productivity standpoint, it's just made a lot of sense for us. And LG is all about finding a really good opportunity and maximizing it. And we do it in every different industry we can find ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's very interesting to see you guys in the space. And, it's a great thing, too, because I think it's interesting because a lot of the robotics companies we see in the space that are doing AMRs and things like that, they're startups, right? They're kind of, starting from fresh. And obviously LG has been around for a long time. So I'm curious, from that perspective, I mean, how does that maybe in your eyes make a difference for the solution that you guys are creating and putting out there?
Well, I think for the first time in my professional life, I've been in the robotic space before, but more on the service side of things. I always found myself in the new tech, and I always tried to explain to you who I was and where I was from.
Yeah.
So I tried to build credibility that way. Well, when you're with LG, you kind of say, I'm with LG, and they go, oh, that's a good thing, right? Meaning you have a good sound backing of everything that they do, and they put their name behind. That's pretty refreshing from a standpoint, from a salesperson's perspective. So what we found is that people want to partner with us from a name recognition standpoint. They also know that they have good quality and service coming from behind it.
Yeah.
But one thing that's changed that most people don't realize is people see LG as more of we used to be consumer electronics, right? You do refrigerators and washer and dryer and so on. But at some point, we want to become a business solutions provider. And so we are not looking at it as we just do product anymore. We want to provide a solution. So everything from LCD screens to monitors to big things that you see like in a stadium, those big screens and scoreboards, we're actually doing those now. So we find ourselves in environments where not only does the robot play well, but also so are other technologies. We're doing EV charging stations, for example, now.
Oh, interesting.
We're in all these different spaces that most people don't realize because we want to become a solutions provider. So when we go into a hotel, not only do we sell them their TVs, but now we also sell them their robots, their charging stations, their 5G networks, and so on. And to me, that's the advantage of being with an LG, is because we have all these different solutions that we can bring to the table, and we become a solutions provider, not just a product provider.
Yeah, and I think that's such a smart way to go about it as well, because you want to have kind of those end-to-end solutions, and when it's built together, right, it makes it a little more seamless, right, than trying to pair one solution with another solution and kind of have those coordinate and work together. So I'm curious from the robotics standpoint and the AMR side within the warehouse itself. I mean, how do you see? Maybe you can give us a glimpse into the future a little bit. I mean, how is that going to be evolving a little more? Are you going to get into other type of warehouse robotic applications too?
So that's a great question. And what I found when I first got in here is that we were really good at making the product, but how were you actually going to implement it for each of the individual customers that you had?
Right.
And LG decided we are not going to sell direct to the end user. We're going to use what we call them SI partners, strategic integrated type partners.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we started to go out and work with the WMS providers. And so we're starting to have these conversations, and we're talking about what kind of an interface do we need to do so that your system talks to our robots and make them do what we want them to do. And then we got introduced to SVT Robotics.
Yes.
And the best thing that ever happened from our perspective is that we got with somebody who's the middleware provider. And now all of a sudden, we now have a connection to the top 6, 7, 8, 10 different WMS providers already in the marketplace today. And so that's helping us get to market way faster than we would otherwise, because it would take us several months per location just to do an interface if it was just one-offs.
Yeah.
Now, when you work with SVT, it's a different story. So what we're doing now is we're just bringing new robots into the mix. So today you'll see, if you go to our booth, we're launching our new CarryBot robot.
Okay.
But we also now have the AGV robots. So we have the actual one that will take a crate and move it from point A to B.
Yeah.
We also have ones that come in and pick up racks and move them. And what I wasn't aware of up until this point is LG's so big that sometimes we don't know anything that they're doing versus what we're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Until we come to a show like this and we go, oh, wow, we do that? And so, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But today I walk into the booth and I see, not only do I see it live in person, I see, robot arms picking up things. And I'm like, we do robot arms? And like, yeah. But we don't do them here yet. We do them in Korea because everything's done over there first, right?
Yeah.
And so it's coming here. So back to your glimpse into the future. We're already doing arms.
Yeah.
We're already doing the AGV that's lifting things and moving huge racks that carries thousands of pounds, right?
Yeah.
And then I learned that we have all these other different robotic things that there's probably like 15 or 20 robots that we actually built that are currently being used at our own factories.
Nice.
Over there.
Yeah.
And that's where we started. So we have them in our factories today. And so what you see over there happening now is coming to the United States at some point in time. We're starting with the simple AMR type robots because there's a big need for them. But all that other stuff is coming. And so we actually have a section in our booth called Smart Factory.
Yeah.
And so we're literally saying, if you want to tie everything together, from everything you do from A to B, we can do it for you. And that's what we're showing over at the booth.
Yeah. And I think that's fantastic. And it's great too that you're able to kind of have that proving ground of your own factory to be able to utilize those robots and make that happen. And I think it's such a good thing too, to have that kind of all-encompassing solutions to be able to cover all the ground, basically, from moving a tote or a pallet around to, picking those pieces with those robotic arms, being able to do all that stuff and cover all that is such a fantastic thing. And now I'm curious from your perspective, maybe LG's perspective, right? You guys say life's good, right? So we're always looking at, how do we utilize solutions and be able to, make the daily lives of the warehouse individuals that are working there easier. So how does that mission, I guess, kind of translate into the warehouse side and what you're trying to provide for them?
Sure. So, there's always the why, right? And people come to us all the time and say, I'm having trouble staffing, right?
Yeah.
I literally cannot keep up. I'm killing the folks that I have, and they're working way too hard. They're lifting big boxes and carrying them 5, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. We need to find better ways of doing things. And so that's how we kind of look at robotics. Some people look at robotics and say to themselves, they're just here to take everybody's job. It's all going to be by robots, etc.
Yeah.
And that is not how we think. We think the opposite. We think the people that do want to work, let's make their jobs easier, better. And so we've seen things like workers' comp claims go way down, right? Which is a significant number if somebody hurts their back. Yeah. We've seen places that normally operate with 10 people and all of a sudden 2 of them call off and we're okay. We're still able to cover and everybody's not having to work 12, 14 hours for that day to cover for that person because the robots, what we find is they're actually increasing productivity by anywhere between 3 and 4 times what is already there. So you decide if you want to take those same people and repurpose them within the organization, which is what we suggest. So it's not about cutting people. It's about maybe you need to reduce a couple, right? Because you don't need them, quite frankly. But you know what? I might need them over in shipping. I might need them over in another area in the business itself. And so we're seeing people being repurposed and repositioned for those that want to work. Yeah. But make no mistake about it. These folks are challenged. They walk up every day and go, I got to find a way to keep staffing my place. And right now, I don't know any other way to do this besides a robot. And so otherwise, we would not be getting our stuff today, right? Yeah. So, why is Amazon able to do what they do? Go to their factories and you see their warehouses and how they operate. They got robots flying around. And that's why they can deliver. You can literally order it today at 8 o'clock and have it delivered before 4 o'clock p.m. That would never happen if it wasn't for robotics and the fact that they're very, very efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great thing there to point out is just kind of that repurposing of the employee too, as well, to be able to do that and maximize that. And also just to point out too, like where you mentioned there, I have 10 people, 2 people call out and I'm still good. I think is such an important thing to highlight, especially for those like small to medium sized businesses where, they're struggling the most. They don't have, 200, 300, 500 employees in their buildings making things running. And, they're just trying to get by. And when they have, a call out, 2 call out, something like that could really impact them. But the putting those robots in place and being able to do that can really make a huge difference for them and be able to make sure that they continue with their business, but then also grow their business too and be able to scale a little bit more. So I think that's really a fantastic thing that you guys are focused on that and being able to do that. So very interesting talking to you here, Jim, and great to learn about LG and what they're doing in the warehousing space. If people want to find out more about LG specifically in the warehousing space, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I mean, we are an international company, so depending on where you're calling from, you can just simply call our corporate office. We have a world headquarters, obviously in Korea, but we also have a world headquarters in New Jersey. That's the U.S. world headquarters.
That's where I live, New Jersey.
Okay, and then we also have a big office in Chicago. We have another satellite offices out of L.A. and so on. So you can call any one of our offices and get redirected. I handle actually the sales from the AMR robotics side. So specifically, if you're on the AMR side. My name is Jim Livingston, and my phone number is 214-912-4736. And feel free to reach out to me, and I'll get you connected with one of our folks, and we'll make it happen.
All right. That sounds great, Jim. And thanks so much. And definitely give this man a call. He just gave his number out there. So
to everybody.
Definitely, Jim, appreciate it. And thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for your time, Kevin. Nice
All right. Good to meet you as well. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, The New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.